I'm Trevor.
And I'm Nick.
Welcome to Nerdy Cinephiles.
Enjoy the file. Make sure you stick around till the end to see what we have to say about butterflies, fish speak, and the shack attack. What's up, guys? We're back today with another video in part of our DCAU review series. And today will be Throne of Atlantis, Justice League. So we're back with another Justice League movie after the Justice League War one and in between our Son of Batman. And this picks up right after War, or it hints at it at least in the post-credit scene in War. If you remember, it was Orm, which is Aquaman's brother, coming up from the sea. So we're kind of seeing where that post-credit scene takes off from in this movie. And I'm going in so dry. This movie's like 6 years old, I think, came out in 2015. So I might have rewatched it, a couple years later in maybe 2017 or something, but I haven't seen it in years. So it's going to be pretty interesting what I can recall when you run down the movie for us.
Yeah, it's been actually, aside from rewatching it and just trying to jog my memory, it's been a while since I've seen it. And there's a lot of things that I just did not remember upon my first or even my second viewing of this movie. And I also just love the fact how this movie is so similar and is 100% an inspiration for the live action Aquaman movie with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, 100%. I do know that much. I do remember watching the Aquaman movie and remembering the similarities.
Yeah. So you want to just jump right into it?
Go for it.
All right. So the movie opens up with just some military guys, most likely U.S. military soldiers in a submarine, just floating around, and they start picking up something on the radar, and we find out that it's some sort of humanoid being that just breaks into the ship and just just sinks it.
Right.
So we already introduced to Atlanteans and just shown who the main villain of the movie's gonna be.
Yeah, right. And in the DC universe, or like comics and all that, Atlanteans, I mean, they're pretty much the same as in real life mythology, like the city got sunk into the sea and they adapted into these like mermaid type people. They have full legs and anything, but
Yeah, they're
yeah,
essentially humans, but they have
yeah,
gills and
they're
uh
like the Amazonians of the sea,
yeah,
basically.
but not all Atlanteans have the same powers as
Yeah,
Aquaman. They
it
can't
is
communicate
interesting.
with fish or well sea
Yeah,
creatures in general,
and
and a lot of them
yeah,
don't possess the same super strength and durability.
yeah, right. Some can like water bend, and some can like I know there's a magic tint to it in some things, but
Yeah,
not sure what they give us here.
they don't really dive that deep into uh, the origin story of Atlantis, other than
Yeah.
it used to be a great civilization, then it was uh, sunk into the sea, and
Yep.
it was lost to everyone. And um, yeah,
All that generic stuff.
yeah, generic stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like Thor in the Marvel. Like everyone pretty much knows. I mean, it's based on real life mythology, so it doesn't stray too far from it.
Yeah, if you want to learn
Besides,
more about it, then you could always. You don't necessarily have to look up anything DC related. You could just look up
yeah,
mythology.
yeah, and a lot will translate for sure.
Yeah. Uh, so after the submarine is sunk, we cut over to Cyborg, who is having a somewhat nightmare where he's in his human body again, and he's jogging next to some girl, but then he stops abruptly and he just sees his suit, which is basically his whole body except the little corner of his eye is just empty, and the suit's telling
Mm.
him it's time to wake up. Cyborg just says, just give me a little more time, and then he just wakes up, and he's on some sort of like an operating table, um, and he meets this woman or some doctor who comes up to him, and she just kind of asks him like, "Are you sure you want to replace your last human lung?" And Cyborg just tells her the only thing he wants from his human or yeah his human past is his heart and his brain.
Hmm. And
So
that's always been a big part of Cyborg's character is just battling with his human side and battling with his machine side and like becoming more machine and losing his human self and always that fear of losing complete control of who he is and pretty basically just becoming full machine.
yeah, and he just knows that eventually he's going to kind of have to just upgrade
Yeah.
himself. And I always kind of wondered, since the suit is with like made from mother box technology, does it have its own sort of sentience? Which I
Yeah,
think it
it
does because, the suit told him it's time to wake up from his dream. But I'm not sure
yeah,
if that
for
was a
sure.
nightmare or if that's actually, the suit.
Yeah, it could be. And I know like obviously the mother but like it keeps him alive, like he doesn't need to eat or anything. It basically fulfills it keeps him alive.
Yeah, it turns
And
him into a Terminator.
yeah, and mother boxes are pretty like what am I gonna say? They're pretty dominable. Like you can control them. They're submissive. That's a good word. They're submissive to the owner pretty much. So
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship.
yeah.
They both, I mean, in Cyborg's case, they both kind of need each other to survive.
Yeah, right.
Well, after that, Cyborg gets a call from Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's kind of on again, off again boyfriend
Yeah,
in
and he
DC
showed up
Comics.
in yeah, he showed up in Justice League War for a little bit. That
Yep,
scene where we first see Wonder Woman with the ice cream.
but Steve Trevor gives Cyborg the breakdown on how the submarine was attacked and how Cyborg needs to go check it out. And uh, yeah, Steve Trevor then asks him like, "Hey, if you need any backup, just let us know." And Cyborg's like, "No, I'll be fine." He's like, "Well, what about the others?" And Cyborg just says, "The others don't respond. They don't communicate with me well." So in Justice League War, at the very end, we're told that they're trying to establish a Justice League, but
Hmm.
that seems to be a title given to them rather than something they all agreed upon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So like after war, they kind of all went their own way again. Like, and in the public's mind, they just labeled them the Super Seven or whatever it was.
Yeah, but it wasn't something they all sat down and discussed and agreed upon.
Yeah, and actually became a team.
Because in war, they didn't just kind of. A lot of them just ended up being in the same place, same time, and they all were
Yeah.
dealing with the same issue with Darkseid and the Parademons. So it kind of worked out that they worked together, but it really wasn't until like the last 10 minutes of that movie that they all started working together actually.
Yeah, and even when they got the name at the end, it was pretty much they were all there just to get their awards or whatever. And
Yeah,
the
just to be
guy
thanked.
the guy announcing was just like, what do we call you guys?" And they're like, "Oh, well, they never thought themselves as a team, so they didn't need a unifying name."
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So, okay, yep. Wonder Woman and Superman are just chilling in Athens and just kind of floating around, and they have a kind of a cool discussion about how they don't fit in with humanity because of their powers and abilities.
Mm,
And Wonder Woman even says, "We're not like the gods, but we're not like them," referring to humans. Um, which also is kind of an issue with. I mean, yeah, it's always been kind of Superman's main issue is how does he fit into a world where he's just different in every way.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so weird. Like they've always known they're like I don't want to say they think of themselves as above humanity, but they can't ignore that.
They know that they are, but they don't necessarily. They want to be able to fit in, but
Yeah,
they don't feel like they can. But I mean,
yeah,
Superman does a good job as Clark Kent.
yeah, for sure. but it's still when he's Clark Kent, he's hiding a big part of his life. Even though he is like he's not really pretending to be Clark Kent, he is Clark Kent. Like it's not like a Batman case where Batman's basically pretending to be Bruce Wayne a lot of the times and like putting on a show when he's Bruce Wayne, but Clark is Clark. Like that's who he is, but he's also Superman, so
Yeah, it's kind of a hard thing to balance.
yeah.
But Superman tells Wonder Woman he can try and help her fit in the same way he does, and they fly
Right.
up in the sky and they start making out. And
What yeah, we got hints of in War when they like, like when
yeah,
they
they
first
flirted
were
with each other a few times in
saving that
War.
plane. Yeah.
But yeah, now they're actually in a relationship, and that I don't remember, at least in comics and such, seeing them as a couple a lot of the times. The
Yeah,
only
it
iteration I can think of would be from Crisis on Infinite Earths, or not that. I believe the one with Ultraman and Superior Woman, or
yeah, I think it
that's
was
the only time I've seen those iterations of characters as a couple.
yeah, there are a couple sometimes in like the comics or like throughout the animated series they were, off and on or like there was hints of it, but whenever Superman gets Lois, it's pretty set in stone that that's who it's going to be with.
Oh yeah,
And did we? I think we saw Lois in War, right? Maybe a little bit.
we might have gotten a slight
Can't
glimpse.
remember.
I think not. I'm not sure
Is
if
does
she
she
was
show up in
there.
this movie?
She does.
Oh, okay, interesting. I guess we'll talk about that when we get there then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like Wonder Woman always gets shipped with the different members of the league. It's like not really necessary, and Steve Trevor exists here in this timeline. Obviously, he shows up already in this movie, and they haven't really had that type of relationship yet. It was more like co-workers.
Yeah, he was kind of yeah, because in War, Wonder Woman was more of an ambassador for
Yeah.
Themyscira.
Hmm.
Excuse me. All right. Uh, we then cut and we get to see our first introduction with Aquaman, who is drunk at a bar talking to a lobster about how alone he is. And a cook comes over and takes a lobster, and Arthur tells him to put it down. We were talking, and cook's like, okay, Arthur, you had a little bit too much to drink, and the patron who is going to be eating the lobster gets all upset and tries to start a fight with Arthur, even bringing along a couple of his friends. But uh, Arthur easily beats up all the thugs, and it was a cool scene where one of the thugs takes out a knife
Right.
and stabs him in the chest, and it just breaks.
Yeah, I
And
do remember that.
yeah, Arthur just remarks, saying, "I was wondering about that," kind of letting us know he's still learning about his powers,
Yeah.
which I like. This is why I like the New 52, because you have a whole bunch of heroes who, most of them, I'd say aside from like Batman and the Flash,
Yeah.
everyone else is probably only like 2 years or 2 years give or take into actually being a hero, and
Yeah, right. They're not in their prime.
but they're also not rookies either.
Yeah, I mean they're just getting their foot. Well, I mean Aquaman technically pretty
Well,
much
yeah,
is
Aquaman is, yeah.
because he's not really Aquaman yet. And
No.
for those that don't know, like Aquaman, he's I mean, you probably know when you think Aquaman, probably a lot of people instantly think just silly, stupid, the worst. And in recent years, DC has done a great job of like rebranding Aquaman and turning him into a real character that can get real respect. Jason Momoa has had a big part in that, and this movie even it's a pretty great storyline, and a big part of Aquaman is talking to fish, so that can be really overlooked and really made fun of. But I mean, it's who he is, so
It's
I
the
mean,
way, yeah, it's the way you handle and display how he is able to use his powers.
yeah, and like so yeah, he's and also for people that know, he's half Atlantean and half human. Like I'm sure they touch on in this movie, but
They
like,
do.
so his mother is like the queen of Atlantis, and his father's just a lighthouse keeper, and they, hook up, and they have him, and he pretty much he grows up in on land in human civilization for like his pretty much his whole life, and
Yeah.
he know like his father doesn't hide it from him, but he never really obviously he can't teach him more than what he knows, which probably isn't a lot. So Arthur Curry is his real name, but he never really knows, and he doesn't necessarily like Atlantis. I mean, he likes being human, but
Well,
it's really
that's more
cool.
the live action one. In this movie, he's aware that he can hold his breath longer than most,
Yeah.
and he's really strong. And now he finds out that he's really durable. But in this movie, he does not know about Atlantis.
Oh, really?
He knows that his mother comes from the sea, because there's a small little flashback where he dives in the water and his mother just swims up to him and then swims away. So he has
Yeah.
seen her before,
Okay,
and
but in memory.
yeah, when he
Well,
was like a
it
real
not
little kid.
yeah. Okay, interesting. Well, that's good to know. I do remember that now. But
During this whole fight, though, there's two men in a car spying
mm,
on him, and after the fight's over, one of the scientists just kind of remarks, "Oh, the legends are true." So somebody's been kind of doing a little research on him,
yeah.
and we also get our first glimpse at Mira, who is also watching the fight. Everyone just happened to know that he was going to get in a bar fight with all these guys and display some of his powers. And yeah, those are characters we'll be seeing a little bit later in the movie.
Yep.
So Cyborg is now underwater researching or investigating the sub and trying to figure out what happened. But he's attacked by an Atlantean who's just swimming around him all fast and stabs him in the shoulder with a knife, but it looked like a sickle, but yeah, it was some sort of knife. Um, and Cyborg has to retreat. He's kind of getting his ass kicked, and he boom tombs out of there. Excuse me. Which is, I think, is it New 52 that really gave Cyborg the like portable boom tube power, like where you can just open it up wherever?
Yeah, I'm not positive on that, but I mean, New 52 is really where they try to make Cyborg a founding or an important member of the Justice League. Like before then, he's always just been a Teen Titan or a
Yeah, just some other side character.
yeah, a sidekick or mentor like type character. So, but New 52, they've definitely upgraded him and given him more. They
Well,
try to shoehorn him in, which I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
against. He's a great character.
yeah. They do a lot of good stuff with him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So after he boom tubes out of the sub, we then see that he's trying to call a meeting with the rest of the league members, but the only ones that show up is Shazam and Flash, and they kind of Shazam asks just where is everyone else, and he's like no one's picking up, nobody's responding. So I thought it was funny. The Flash just says he's gonna do it old fashioned, and just runs around and tells everyone in person.
Yeah. Because like the fast like God, the messenger, like
Yeah,
pretty cool to see him in that role. But and this movie, they do a great job of just knowing who the characters are. Like Shazam and Flash and they would be the ones to show up to the meeting and like want to be a part of this. And like Batman and Superman, like they have their own things. Like they don't really necessarily have to care about this.
yeah. I actually remembered that wrong. Flash only goes and tells Green Lantern, which funny scene where Green Lantern is hitting on some woman at the Air Force Base, and he's able to get her number to try and take her out on a date. But then you just see a blur from the Flash running by, and he replaces the note telling him that there's a meeting that he needs to go to.
I do vaguely remember that.
Um, and then yeah, so Flash tells Green Lantern, then Cyborg boom tubes him and Shazam to a diner where we see uh, Superman and Wonder Woman in their civilian disguises out on a date. And again, the only way to hide your identity is just put on a pair of glasses, and nobody will recognize you.
Yep. Pair of glasses, a little bit different haircut, and you're good to go. Kind of like the Marvel, just baseball cap.
Yeah, exactly.
I
But
love it though.
this is
That's what
actually.
I.
Oh,
Yeah, those are the type of things I just love about comics. Is just stupid stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, suspend your disbelief. You can get away with that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But in the diners where we actually get our first intro of Lois Lane, who kind of tries to, try. I'd say it tries to embarrass Clark on his date with Diana, and they have a little banter here and there. And you kind of tell that Lois is into Clark, just like the way she's talking to him, and when she finds out that they're on a date, she's like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
like all surprised, and then
Yeah, and kind of like
tries to,
jealous.
yeah, kind of jealous, and then tries to balance herself just by calling him Smallville, making fun of him, and yeah, we'll see if that ends up going anywhere. But, yeah, it is. It's Lois Lane and Clark Kent. It's if there's two are in the same universe, it's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Um, so we get all the League members except for Batman, who still is refusing to pick up. So Green Lantern decides to go get him himself, which I really like because I really like their banter and just how they worked with each other in Justice League War. Both of those actors are great off of each other, and we get a really cool scene where Green Lantern goes over to Gotham, and we see Batman who's chasing a gang of some Scarecrow members in the Batplane.
Hmm.
So yeah, you get
I do remember this scene. I do
yeah.
remember.
This scene was great.
Yeah.
Uh, and Green Lantern just has to be a smartass again, flying next to Batman, just saying, "What's wrong, Spooky? Don't keep in touch." And Batman just kind of doesn't. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of groans and then continues chasing the gang members. And Green Lantern just says, "Oh, this is taking too long." So instead of just doing like the classic put him in a bubble with his construct ring,
Hmm.
he builds this giant ramp and like brings the gang members like probably like a couple miles just around this huge like almost RC car track, and then
Yeah.
just builds a giant concrete barrier in front of them. And we see they crash into it, and we see all of them are knocked out, but they're all just unconscious and bloody. And I was
Yeah,
just like,
fucks them up, obviously.
you definitely killed like the people in the front seat.
Yeah.
Severely injured the ones in the back. But Green Lantern's all proud of himself. And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that was easy." And Batman just hops out of the bat, or he's standing on top of the bat plane, all pissed off because he wanted to catch them and interrogate them to figure out where the Scarecrow is, what's the
Yep.
Scarecrow's plan, and yeah, he just kind of ruined, or Green Lantern ruined Batman's whole plan because letting us know
Yeah.
that Batman always thinks ahead. He's not just catch him and arrest him. He
Yep.
needs to work up to the boss and stuff. So
Yeah, he definitely thought he was doing Batman a favor here.
yeah, no, he just ended up getting in the way and making himself look like an idiot again in front of Batman.
Hmm.
uh, so now we finally have the full league, and Cyborg is using this cool like VR tech to recreate like the entire submarine and his attack. Like it's like virtual reality GoPro,
Yeah.
and Wonder Woman is able to spot the knife and notices that the inscriptions are Atlantean. So that's when we get our first name drop of the
Hmm.
enemies, and yeah, uh,
Yeah, I always love how like Amazonians and Atlanteans are linked because they're both these ancient cultures and stuff, and like They talk about some of that in the Snyder cut. Like I know you don't want to talk about it, but
Don't talk. I haven't seen. I'm seeing it today.
it was just a cool little part where they just talk about like the past of Atlanteans and Amazonians.
Yeah. And also, I gotta say, I know it wasn't a spoiler or anything, but I told you, I said, how do you think you could just go the whole podcast without saying anything about it? You're like, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I couldn't.
I
I,
knew it.
that was I love that part too. I mean, it's not a big part of the movie. They talk about it a few times. They're like, oh look, a Amazonian and an Atlantean working together. Like I just love that relationship between those two cultures and like how they're like sister cultures and like it
Um,
just adds so much mythology to the DC universe.
yeah. Um, so yeah, the league members are trying to figure out where to go from here, and Shazam has an idea to talk to some guy he saw on TV called Stephen Shin, uh, who apparently is obsessed and sorry, is obsessed on finding Atlantis, and
Oh,
everyone else was like, well, Shazam kind of points it out like, oh, that was just an idea. It's dumb. Don't worry about it. And Batman's like, you know what? That actually is a good idea. So he says him and Superman are gonna go talk to Shin, and the rest of the league members are gonna go check out the submarine.
is that the same character in the Aquaman live action movie? Like that Asian guy that likes is like, oh yeah, it is. I just looked it up. Randall Park plays him. Stephen Shin, same character. That's cool.
That's I did not know that.
So you can, I mean, it's just another
That's
big
another thing.
similarity between,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Well, now we finally get to, like, I'd say, the meat of like the story right now. We get our
Hmm.
first introduction to Orm and Black Mana.
Oh, don't get me started about Black Man. I fucking love that dude.
Orm was great in this too, and
Yeah, he is too. I just love Black. I've always loved Black Mana.
yeah, but
His
Orm is
his costume is so cool.
uh the voice actor for Orm also plays Darth Maul in the Clone Wars, who is just fantastic. Because I was watching it,
Oh,
I'm like, I didn't look at any of the casting for this movie when I was rewatching it, and I was like, he
yeah, I
sounds
have the list
very
right in front of me.
familiar. And then afterwards I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, was Darth Maul.
Huh. That's it. I love me some Darth Maul. I
See,
wonder if I would have noticed if I watched.
yeah,
Probably
if you
not,
watched the
but
Clone Wars, then you
yeah.
would know.
Well, yeah, yeah. And you know who voices Black Mana?
I do not.
Harry Lennox, who is the general in Man of Steel and BVS and Justice League.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. Cool.
he has a great voice.
He
That's
does.
perfect for Black Mana.
I hope he's a DC fan too. He's already in two projects, so he's got to have some appreciation of it. It's always nice
I
when
wouldn't be surprised.
actors or voice actors actually care about the material that they're
Yeah, I know he's
working
been a
on.
big part of like the Snyder Cut release too. Like he's always been pushing for that. I mean, pretty much everyone in that movie has, but
Yeah. So earlier you said that Orm and Arthur are brothers,
right.
but they're not. They're half brothers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. I mean,
Okay.
you know.
I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, they're half
No, yeah,
brothers.
that's a good clarification.
Yep. They
Yeah.
both have the same mother, but Orm's father, who was the previous king of Atlantis, died during
Yeah.
Darkseid's attack, and he's trying to get the queen to
Oh.
go to war with surface dwellers, as he calls them, and
Wow.
he wants revenge, and also just kind of states that how poorly the humans treat the ocean. But the queen is telling him to kind of to calm down, like it wasn't the humans that attacked them. It was she
Yeah.
calls them the beings from space, but Orm still sees it as collateral damage and wants some sort of retribution for losing his
Yeah.
father. So
Yeah, I don't remember that part. Like how did he die specifically? You remember?
I do not. That's
Huh. I mean,
yeah.
I'll have to look into that. That's yeah.
Um, but we then yeah. So we actually talking about the queen. She does not seem to. I wouldn't say she doesn't like Orm, but she's kind of getting sick of him just trying to wage war and
Yeah.
almost overthrow her, because she is queen, but it's her son, and he's just kind of bratty.
Yeah,
And
no one really likes Orm.
no, I mean he's not a bad character, but in
No, well,
continuity,
yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
We're talking about like people in the DC universe.
Yeah,
There,
for
nobody
sure.
really likes Orm.
Yeah, no, cool character, but yeah. He's like a Draco Malfoy or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so Orm and Black Mana kind of storm out, and Orm just kind of tells Black Mana to go along with the plan, which is to use human technology in his man his manta ray shaped submarine or
Oh,
watercraft.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a word for it, but whatever, some sort of submarine, and he starts bombing Atlantis, just firing missiles at it, in order
Yes.
to make the Atlanteans think that it was just an attack by the humans, not knowing that it was a secret,
Hmm.
organized attack.
Which also happens in the Aquaman movie, live
Yep.
action.
See, yeah, there's so many similarities, and
Which is good. Like we want DC to do this live action. Like just take already good stories and just adapt them. Like
there's so many they can do.
yeah, they don't have to make everything new and
Yeah, I mean,
because they ruin a lot of it. I mean, just gonna say.
one of my biggest issues with DC movies is
Yeah.
just they try and cram too much stuff. Just stick to one solid cohesive story, and
Hmm.
don't throw the death of Superman in the last like half an hour of the movie with a cave troll from Lord of the Rings. It's yeah, that's a hot topic for me.
Yeah, we can talk. I mean, that's a lot. There's a lot to talk about there, but yeah, you'll DC will never make us mad for staying faithful to the comics. I'll just say that.
Yep. Um. So yeah, the attack happened, and then we cut over to Arthur, who is getting a knock at the door, and he's all hungover, uh, and he's telling the guy to like kind of calm down. He's like, "I'm hung, but not in a good way," and he just
Oh
takes
my
his
lord.
head and just dunks it into a fish tank, and just kind of sits there and like, almost like is getting fresh air.
Yeah.
Because when you're hungover, it's just nice to get out of the house and just get fresh air. You feel a lot better.
I wouldn't know, but
Yeah, neither would I.
yeah.
um, but he opens the door and he sees that it's Stephen Shin, who finally tracked him down, and he's telling him uh, he can help him. He has information about, just him, some secrets and stuff that his father kind of kept from him. And as soon as Arthur like like lets him come in the house, Shin's just standing there, and we find out that there's a group of Atlanteans who just stab Shin in the back, and they all are jumping in the house trying to take out Arthur.
Yikes.
And another thing that this was another scene that was similar to the live action movie.
Yeah.
A group of Atlanteans break in. It's like a 1v5 fight in like a small
Oh,
living room.
right.
People get
That
tossed
house
through
scene was
walls.
sick.
Yeah.
Damn, I want to rewatch that movie now. Aquaman, the live action one. That I think I've only seen it once, but I loved it when I did.
I've seen it a few times. Yeah, I'm a big rewatcher with movies.
Yeah, and I am definitely not.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean, it has to be a long time, but
see, I
and now
can
it
go through
has. So,
stints of like a month, and I can just start,
oh, that's
rewatching
wild.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's really good.
that's a big part where me and you are different.
Yeah, but somehow you can like you're
We have
able
a
to
lot of
retain more.
similarities.
Yeah, you're able to retain more. I always try and look for new things that I might have missed the first time.
All right.
There could be a movie I've seen like 30 times, and I'll still find something new about it. Uh, but yeah, Arthur is getting his ass kicked, and he is then helped out by Mira, who shows up and kind of tells the other Atlanteans, like, you're not allowed to hurt him. He's the son of the queen, by her orders and stuff. And the Atlanteans just start trying to attack Mira, which kind of shows that Orm has his own group of radicals or loyal subjects, whatever you want to call them.
Mhm.
But we get a cool part with Mira where she makes this giant tornado of water and like throws a bunch of sends a bunch of water at the Atlanteans, but then turns them into ice spikes and also like razor blades and like impales them, cuts them in half, and
I love
there's
her.
a lot of blood. And this is another movie where it's PG-13, but
Right, they're
like,
pushing
well,
the limit.
they're like, we'll get as much as we can out of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mira throughout this movie, she kills a lot of people.
She's so cool. I love her character.
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
Mira's awesome. She has the power to manipulate water and just kind of weaponize it. And yeah, so if you're a fan of Avatar: Last Airbender, she's a waterbender.
Yeah, really.
Too bad she was played by a horrible, horrible
You
demon in
you
live action.
you really don't want me to talk about the Snyder Cut, but
yeah, don't.
well, she's I I mean, oh god, dude. Amber Heard.
In like literally
I like Amber
in like
Heard.
an hour and a half, I will be watching that movie.
Yeah, I know. But I like Amber Heard. You know what? I'll say it. Cancel me if you want. They should just keep her on. Like, who fucking cares? She took a poop in a bed and, whatever.
Yeah, maybe do a little more research, buddy.
I know. But fuck. Just get some help and like I don't know. She just does such a great job. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are actors. There are actors and stuff who are terrible human beings, but
yeah,
I'm just not a huge fan of her, so I'm not able to separate the character portion from the human portion.
I mean, you're gonna watch the Snyder Cut and still not like her, probably just because you being you. But
what do you mean, me being me? I give everyone a chance.
Well, like once you don't like but you already gave her a chance. Like you already don't like her, so I don't think there's not anything that's gonna change your mind about it.
You know what, Nick? For you, when I watch the Snyder Cut, I will go in just completely fresh.
I mean, it's not like she gets a ridiculous amount of redemption scenes, but
all right, I'll drop her right now. I have no beef with her.
Okay, square one.
Okay, no beef.
Or ground zero. Okay.
Yeah, square ground. There we go.
All right, find out on the next episode if Trevor has changed his mind about Amber Heard's Mira.
Brie Larson's still in,
okay,
a bad space. All right, so we jump to Batman and Superman looking for Shin, and Batman just kind of they notice that the whole place is trashed, and Batman saying, yeah, he's probably dead, and Superman's like, well, how do you know that? And Batman just says, you don't destroy someone's work and leave them alive to recreate it. Which, yeah, shows that he's the greatest detective, but also I had just a slight problem with that, because Batman destroys all of his enemies, like doomsday weapons and creations and stuff, but he leaves them alive. Or he brings them to Arkham, which is basically time out.
Well, I guess he's thinking in a bad guy's mindset.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know. I get your point. I was just
just
trying to play devil's advocate a little bit, but
I was
there's a little bit of a fallacy.
Yeah, maybe do a little evaluation on yourself and your track record.
Check yourself.
Yeah, Superman is told not to touch anything, but he notices a giant fish tank, almost like what you'd see in an aquarium. He says like little particles of paper floating around. So he jumps in there with super speed and just rearranges all the pieces and just puts them on the wall. And he's just looking at it, just going, I wonder who this guy is. And we see that it's a picture of Arthur. And yeah, there's a picture and like an article or something. So they now know this is the guy Shin was trying to find, and this is now the guy they need to find. Which it was cool getting a more solo scene with Batman and Superman.
Mm,
The Dream
the
Team.
duo.
Yeah.
There's always some scientist that they need to find that's been kidnapped.
Yeah, it's always somebody, but in this case, the scientist is already dead. So,
Ripperoni.
so Mira brings Arthur to Atlantis, and Arthur's like, "Whoa, like didn't think the place existed," and he's told that he's supposed to be the new king. How Orm is not fit for the throne. How he's crazy and evil and all that. But Arthur is kind of upset. He's like, well, you're telling me my mom cared about me and wants me to be king, but why'd she leave? And we find out that it was due to an arranged marriage. She was married to Orm's father and was told, like, if she tried to leave and live on the surface with Arthur's dad, then Arthur and his dad, his name is escaping me. I don't think they ever name drop him, but Papa
Thomas.
Curry.
Thomas.
Okay, well, it's Papa Curry now. I like that better.
Okay, Papa Curry.
Yeah, so they both be killed, so she had to leave in order to protect them. Kind of cliche. I have to leave so you'll be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And Mira sets him up with some Royal Guard armor, which it's kind of cool. But we see that the iconic green pants and orange shirt underneath it, and Arthur puts on all the armor, and he's just given, this speech on how he's going to try and make things right, and he takes off all the pieces of armor, and we get the iconic suit.
Nice.
Which, I don't know why, it just looks so good. I'm so happy in the live action Aquaman. We were able to see it.
Oh, for sure.
There's nothing wrong with his, like, Zack Snyder's design for Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
But
oh no, it's great too.
It looks so much better.
Dude, like I said, comic accuracy is everything. That's, I mean,
and a lot of people don't think that it would translate well from page to screen, but it does. They said
it
that
always
Black
does.
Manta too. And
it always does.
How are you gonna make his big head look normal?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not normal. It's a big head. It's not supposed to be normal.
Yeah.
He's a fish robot, basically. Fucking.
I mean,
badass.
No, I mean, I don't think we discussed Black Manta that much.
Oh no, I don't think. Yeah, true.
I'd let you take the reins because he's your guy.
How much backstory have they given like so far in this movie, or do they at all?
Yep, there's only one thing that I can remember, and I did gloss over it.
Okay.
The two scientists in the beginning of the movie watching Arthur fight the thugs was Stephen Shin, and then there is another man named David, who we find out is Black Manta.
Oh, okay.
So so Black Manta ratted out Shin's like location to the Atlanteans so that they killed him. That's how that happened.
Oh, fair enough. Well, yeah, sometimes he's an abandoned like Atlantean, but most often he is just a mercenary and he has some kind of beef or fascination with Atlantis. So he builds, this tech mech suit, and it looks like a mantis array or a Black Manta, that's his name. And
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, there's really not much to his character, but he's just
a mercenary, badass. And
he's blends... like Water Deathstroke.
Yeah, Water. That's good. Yeah. He blends human technology with Atlantean tech, I believe.
Yeah.
Like he works with the Atlanteans to kind of get a bit of their tech and stuff, and like underwater treasure and stuff in the comics, and
Yeah.
He's
just a total badass.
Yeah, so Arthur and Mira jump up to the surface, and they're trying to establish a plan on how to, take out Orm and stop this impending war that Orm's trying to start, and a bunch of creatures from the trench pop up on
The
land.
trench.
Yep. And yeah, another fight breaks out. And again, Mira just murders all these creatures. She like makes ice knives and like cuts them in half and like removes heads and a bunch of blood everywhere. Um, but while they're fighting and starting to get overwhelmed, we see Flash running on the water, and he radios in to the rest of the members saying, you know, "Oh, I found him." And yeah, the League shows up, and they all just do their part to help attack all the trench creatures. And one part I liked is everyone's fighting, and there's a few more trench creatures kind of coming to join the fight. And Superman turns around, and his eyes glow, and they all just run back in the water like, "Oh, fuck this."
Yeah, right. And like, just for people who don't know, the trench is like just, like literally just these creatures and these really, deep sea creature monsters that just live in like the deep trenches of the ocean, and there's really not much to it, but
Yeah,
just a little
they're
explanation.
legitimate fish people, like
Yeah.
like humanoid piranhas, and yeah, they're just monsters. I mean, yeah, they're more animals.
Nightmare fuel.
They're
Yeah,
more.
they
They
are
have
more.
like more animal, but like human body and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so Arthur gets the League members to join him on his attempt to save Atlantis, and we finally get to see Orm flying into the throne room, and he's finally wearing his classic costume because he's now Ocean Master. And oh, shit! I skipped the part before this,
Oh.
right after Arthur gets his suit.
Oh no, I can't believe you have done this.
Yep, nope, I ruined the video.
All right. Catch us next week.
Yeah. But right before we catch up with Arthur and Mira fighting the trench people, we see Orm giving one last attempt to kind of, get the queen to allow him to wage war, but she's not having it. She's getting all pissed off, and Black Manta tries to attack her, and she shoots him with like a laser beam from the trident, and then while her back is turned, Orm stabs her in the back, killing her and taking over her position.
Yep, that is definitely a big
Yeah,
part.
I do not know why I missed that. I must have just glanced over it.
No, you're fine. Oh, it makes it funny though.
Jeez,
You're like,
I'm such a failure.
you're like, oh, and then we see Orm as Ocean Master, and you're like, oh, wait, when did this happen? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
so.
fuck. So yep, Ocean Master now. Yay.
Yay. His costume's so cool too, though.
Yeah, this is different than the iconic one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's black, not silver.
I'm gonna look up a picture real quick. I mean, black is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. But yeah, he
oh yeah,
he's chilling on the throne, talking about how he's gonna wage war on the surface, and Justice League members try and stop him, but he uses the King's Trident and basically he just shoots them all once with a laser, and then he seals them in this like sort of cocoon.
Ooh.
And yeah, so most of the League members are out of commission. And
they're gonna turn into butterflies.
No.
Okay.
When they're in their little cocoons, he takes them and throws them into a trench where we see this giant kraken, Just like, it looks like Cthulhu. Giant squid monster fuck thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Orm's finally getting ready to wage war, and he summons a giant tidal wave that's heading towards Metropolis. We then cut
Metropolis
to
gets fucked.
Flash, Batman, and Shazam, who stayed on the surface, and they were seeing on the computers that a giant tidal wave's coming, and they're wondering, like, how can they save everyone? But Batman says they can't. People will die. And if Batman says that, I know he's not the most optimistic, but if he's saying that,
Yeah.
kind of in some deep shit. And yeah, uh, back to the whole cracking guy. He's grabbing some of the cocoons, getting ready to eat the League members. But Aquaman wakes up and breaks out of the pod just cause. I mean, I guess he woke up earlier.
And he's a butterfly.
Yeah.
A water butterfly. A manta. He's the new Black Manta.
God. Just, I'm just picturing him like actually fused with a manta ray now.
Yeah. Oh god.
Mandibles? No.
So it's almost worse than Martian Manhunter and Hot Girls, baby.
Close.
He's good. Okay, that's gonna be on the thumbnail. So
Ugh.
if you want to see what the baby Martian Manhunter and Hot Girls baby monster thing, look at the thumbnail. He'll be there.
No. Well, Aquaman's free, and he uses his sonar, fish talking ability. I don't know the name for it. I feel like there's some specific, like, name for that power. I'm just gonna call it fish speak. So.
You landed on fish speak.
It's like the third thing that popped in my head.
Okay.
But he gets the Kraken to stop eating the League members, so Aquaman runs over, frees the League members from their little pods. It's like a 2-minute scene. Superman breaks out, kicks the shit out of this fucking squid, turning into calamari. I mean, yeah, this movie, it's just like, there's so, like, I'm so sporadic with just the discussion because it cuts so many times. There's so many characters that you have to kind of wonder.
That's true.
And, like, this scene, like I said, it's like 2 minutes of just, oh, are they going to get eaten? Nope, they're free. Okay, we're going to go meet up with the rest of the heroes.
Like, also, we can call Aquaman's powers the Arthur Tingle.
No, I think fish speak is better.
Okay, fish speak. Team fish speak.
Yeah, so we now see the tidal wave is at the edge of Metropolis, and then kind of opens up, and we see Orm leading his army of like 50 guys with spears, and he has like 6 tanks.
Really? Not many.
And yeah, I know that they have like they're stronger than humans, but if you're trying to like take over the whole surface world, that's not enough. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he would have had more soldiers if he didn't have Black Manta bomb Atlantis earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the humans are kind of lined up at the edge of Metropolis as well with, guns and tanks and such. And my question was, why not just take the tidal wave and attack the city with that? Why do you need to just bring it to the edge of the city? And it's not used. He doesn't, like, try and use it at any point later. It's just gone.
Wait, what?
The tidal wave. It doesn't.
So
it just stops at the edge of
it?
Yeah, he makes it. He apparently sends it from Atlantis to the edge of Metropolis.
Oh wait, and then it just stops? Like it's
stops.
Still there, but it's just floating in place?
Yeah, it's just floating in place, and it's basically just a way for him and his men to show up and look cool and scary, but yeah, they don't use it.
Oh, he never... What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. That was really weird.
You think they would open with that?
I thought so too, but...
Because that would do a lot of damage right away, and then his 50 guys can come in and clean up.
Dude, the tidal waves are like bigger than a skyscraper. You could have leveled like that whole place. There would be no one to fight.
What the frick?
I don't know. But yeah, so the humans and Atlanteans start fighting. The humans are no match until Shazam and the rest of the League members show up to help. And, yeah, kind of around to different members, just doing their thing. Flash being all fast, Shazam using lightning, Batman just kicking ass. Aquaman shows up and just big old brawl in the streets.
Nice.
Black Manta jumps Aquaman and kind of just tells Aquaman, like, you're interfering with my plans. And we kind of see that Black Manta was using Orm to steal his treasure after the war. Which, again, this is like where the movie for me kind of falls apart. I mean, I try not
Okay.
to look too much into it, like the plot and stuff of
Hmm.
the end of this, but I just shut my brain off and just enjoyed the action. There's a lot of cool moments.
Yeah.
Um,
So the final act, you not buying?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool. You get Mira and Wonder Woman killing a lot of Atlantean soldiers. Mira doing her ice spikes and razors, and Wonder Woman using her sword.
Right.
Uh, we also get a quick cameo of I'd say it's a minor character,
Yes.
but the character
Deal.
of Slet. Yeah, Steel. Yep. I I always think Sledge, but yeah, it's
Sledge. Like Rainbow Six Siege.
probably.
Sledge. No, we get Sledge from Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Same universe. Yeah.
But his real name is Tom Henry, and he's working on a construction site, and he saves his
Right.
boss using a sledgehammer, uh,
Yeah.
by hitting Lanny, and that was going to kill him. And who knows? We might be able to see this character again in the future.
Yeah. I
Ooh, I
wonder.
wonder who. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Shaq.
So yeah, I don't know. I was just about to say, I don't know if we should explain his character any just
No,
because it might be some.
there'll be time
Yeah,
later on. He will
there
show
will
up
be a
in
time.
another movie, but
But yeah, Shaq does play a really terrible version of
that movie
him
was
in a movie.
awesome. Bring Shaq
it's
back.
it's awesome. Yeah, okay. Honestly, that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah. Hey, what can I say? I got great ideas.
Even
Um,
though he's fat now, he can just be fat steel.
But yeah, Black Manta is still fighting Aquaman, and he does this little monologue about how he was using Orm, and I expected the fight to go on a little longer, but Aquaman uses his fish speak to summon a shark by the nearby dock to just
Uh huh.
eat Black Manta.
Why not?
I was like, okay, cool.
That's
I mean, I just again, this is
yeah,
where I'm not all for the last
yeah.
act of this movie
Kind
because
of a lot of
you
ex
get a
machina type
yeah,
stuff.
well, you get a 30-second thing about Black Manta. Like it almost felt like it was gonna be like some sort of big reveal, like
Hmm.
oh, it was me all along, and then he's eaten by a shark immediately after he talks about how talks about his part in this whole thing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, so he didn't have to be behind or trying to manipulate Orm. Like there really wasn't like payoff for that, but yeah, fucking,
yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
Black Manta is kicking ass, and he's fighting Shazam now. Not Black, fuck, Orm.
I was gonna say, wasn't he just eating?
Again, this movie it cuts around so much to just every character fighting, and I don't know. So yes, Orm is fighting
Yeah, yeah.
Shazam, and he shoots Shazam with lightning, which turns
Okay.
him back into Billy Batson. Which,
What? I don't
yeah,
know if
that
that's how that works.
no, I mean, I know it's a magic staff, but I thought you had to say the word Shazam to change forms.
Yeah. I mean, there might be some instances. Oh God, I can't speak. There might be some times when Shazam gets hurt so bad, like if he gets induced a lot of trauma, he might get turned back in. But
I guess, but it
I
didn't seem
don't.
like he was that beaten up. It seemed like he was just trying to go in for an attack, and Orm just
Yeah.
shot lightning at him.
And you think that wouldn't affect him at all because Shazam's all magic and all about lightning.
It, again, this last
Yeah.
act of the
Okay.
movie is just bad shit. It's not
Okay.
bad
Okay.
if you just shut your brain off.
Yeah.
It's fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman steals the trident using the lasso of truth, but when she grabs it, she can't control it because it only answers to the King of Atlantis or those with royal blood.
Okay. The Thor hammer.
Yeah,
Mjolnir.
it's Mjolnir. Um, yeah, but Orm's like, yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's able to get the staff back, or the trident back, and he stabs Superman in the chest, which actually impales him a bit and then shocks him.
Okay, yeah, well, okay, that makes
Well,
sense
yeah,
because
Superman's
Superman,
yeah, his weakness is magic,
yeah,
kryptonite, and Lois Lane.
and Pornhub. I mean, wait, that's my weakness. Okay,
All
keep
right.
going.
You just threw me off. I am all right.
Um, you're already thrown off, but I threw in the dagger. I threw in the trident into your heart and turned you back into communist boy.
I thought it was Sinestro.
Well, you go from you go from communist boy into Sinestro. So I stabbed you as Sinestro, and then you turned back into communist boy. And now no one knows what's going on, and neither do I.
You threw me off so much. Okay. All right.
Okay, Superman gets
Yep, stabbed in
stabbed
the
like a
chest. Yeah,
little kebab.
like a kebab. Yep. Aquaman shows up. He's the last guy standing, and he grabs a spear off the ground, and him and Orm start fighting. But Aquaman is clearly stronger, kind of whooping Orm's ass.
Alpha.
But
Alpha.
Orm has the trident and shoots him with more lightning, and
Oh fuck.
yeah.
What is this lightning shit? It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
water weapon.
Yeah, it's a water thing.
It's a water weapon, but it's shooting lightning. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it works differently on land.
Okay.
But yep, Aquaman is now getting his ass kicked, and
Yeah.
Batman is trying to revive Cyborg, who got his chest ripped open at some point in this fight, and
Nice.
he revives him using a taser on his heart. So,
Oh my god.
all right,
Dude.
it works. Cool.
This movie's really shooting itself in its own foot.
Yeah, it is. But so Batman is able to get Cyborg up and running again, and they come up with a plan to expose Orm, because during the League's first attack on Orm, Cyborg was recording him, kind of laying out his evil plan, saying how he killed the Queen, how he's gonna take over the surface world, and all the other Atlanteans are watching it because Cyborg's like projecting it, just in the sky or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you killed the Queen? Like he's a traitor, this and that." So they all just bail, and yeah, Orm's like knocked out. I mean, again, this movie, it started off so strong.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to like figure out what to even fucking say. Like
yeah, well, I never remembered. I mean, obviously, I watched in 2015. I mean, it was a lot different times. I was a young tot. I mean, I'm sure I didn't hate it when I watched it. I might have. I don't remember it ever being one of my favorite movies in this lineup. So, which is why it kind of, I was going to rewatch it before today's conversation, but I really just never got the drive to, so.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, again, there's so many, like, why didn't you use the tidal wave? And after Orm is exposed, all the Atlanteans are just like, oh, well, sorry, alright, see ya.
Yeah.
And they just dip back in the ocean. I'm like, okay, cool. And then, I mean, not that it's necessarily needed, but we just don't see anything about, how the humans are doing or anything. We just cut back to Atlantis. Everything's all fucking hunky-dory, peachy keen.
Fuck the humans.
Aquaman finally becomes king, and the team agrees to finally be the Justice League. Like, all of them are like, there's bigger threats out there in the world. Like, new stuff is popping up every day. So, we should do, like, weekly meetings, and...
So finally, at the end of the second Justice League movie, they finally become the actual Justice League.
Yeah, this is the fourth movie in...
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fourth movie, they finally become the Justice League.
And second Justice League movie, which is crazy, I mean...
Yeah.
So technically the first Justice League movie is not a Justice League movie.
I wouldn't even count this one.
Yeah,
because they
that's fair enough. Because they're not. Yeah, it's after the fact.
yeah, they finally agree. Like before, it was the public giving them a name. Now they're saying, they should
Yeah.
work together. They invite Aquaman to join. Um, and Aquaman's like, yeah. And Mirror's like, you sure you could do this? Like, you're gonna be king. And he's like, no, it's good if I have a foot in the uh, Atlantis and a foot in the surface world. He doesn't really care about his king obligations that much. I mean,
Yeah.
swim around, give your people fish food or whatever the hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
Play with their gills from time to time. Who knows?
Oh my lord, that sounds oddly arousing. Can you play with
Uh,
my gills?
the movie ends with a bunch of trench creatures showing up at Atlantis, and cool little scene. Aquaman swims over to attack them, and he tells the League members, "Oh no, I got this." And as a huge swarm, I call it a fucking swarm. A huge swarm of trench creatures start swimming towards him. Aquaman summons every creature in the ocean to help fight him. He dives in. End of
Okay.
movie. No, it's not. We get another post-credit scene
Oh, boom,
where,
kind of scene.
yep, where Orm is locked up, freaking out,
Oh my god.
and you know what? I like the design of his cell.
Okay.
He's clearly locked up on the surface, but
Okay.
it's like a little. It looks like a normal, prison cell at first, and then as he's yelling at a guard, he jumps into a little pool. So they give him a little swimming pool, which
Uh-huh.
I thought was cool. But then
That's
he's
cute.
gets a visitor, and we see that it's Lex Luthor who's working to try and recruit him,
Ooh, the bald bitch himself.
who will eventually be played by a different voice actor because he did
Oh,
not
yep.
sound the same,
Who
and the
who
character design was
is
different.
Oh wait, I wonder if it says in here. Well, I know who plays him in the later movies. It's the fuck.
See,
Can't remember his real
don't
name. But it's Dwight Schrute.
yeah,
Yeah.
fun fact. Well, now the movie's over. That was I was all over the fuck. This movie is just
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson. Okay,
Okay. But I don't know who voices him in this one.
yeah, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
Steve Blum.
Steam Blunt.
S- Steve 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 Blum. Like Blumhouse.
Sure, whatever. He's
Blum.
only in this movie. Get him out of here. But yeah, that was Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
Yeah, it definitely was. And are we in agreement that it's the weakest one so far?
Yeah, I would say
I
so.
mean,
It's a fun movie.
yeah,
I would say this is definitely a
it,
nerdy movie. I mean,
yeah.
if we're gonna rank it as
Oh, for
nerdy or
sure.
cinephile, I'd
Right.
say it's nerdy. It's fun. Shut your brain off. You'll enjoy it. It's great. But if you're trying to look at it in a cinematic way, it's all over the place. They have a
Right.
whole lot of. I mean, I assume that the tidal wave thing would be like a Chekhov's gun,
Hmm.
but no, they just.
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
with it until the last act. That I'm just so much was happening. I was just confused on why they gave 2 seconds to one character, and then
right.
just being a DC fan, some of the properties on how things work with the staff, why is it shooting lightning? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's either this or Son of Batman, the weakest one so far, and I don't know. I mean, I just rewatched Son of Batman, and but if I didn't, I would still say, I mean, I'd probably want to rewatch Throne of Atlantis more than Son of Batman, but that doesn't mean it's a better movie than Son of Batman.
yeah. No, I feel the same way. I would rather rewatch this, but it's not a better movie.
Yeah.
It it feels like a clip show of just different
Right.
movies.
And like in the Aquaman live action movie, it they never get to the surface world. Like Aquaman stops it before it even gets to that point, so that they don't have to deal with the whole tidal wave thing or the Justice League. So
Well, they in the beginning of that movie, wasn't there a tidal wave where he was?
Oh yeah, he like pushes all the like junk and all the pollution onto the
Yeah,
surface, but it's not like it's meant to just, like, hey, fuck you, keep your shit on your side of the lawn. Not not like I'm gonna commit genocide, even though he wants to. But
yeah. Usually when you try and do that, it doesn't work out well.
no,
But yeah, I mean, again, I said a lot of negative things about this movie. I don't hate it. I
no,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
I
Just
know,
actually trying to like look at things. Like this is the first time I'd actually say I looked at it very closely,
yeah,
just to find things, remember how the story went, and I got tripped
yeah.
up so many times. I mean, hell, I even forgot about like one of the biggest plot points, which was Aquaman's mother dying.
But it doesn't feel that important at the
It
same time,
doesn't,
though.
no.
Yeah.
And
Like the ramifications aren't really anything. Like the only reason that happens is so that Orm can become Motion Master.
exactly. And the fact that, you know, and I'm not like, it could be just people didn't want to animate that many people in the movie, but Orm's army looked tiny. There's a
Hmm.
tidal wave that wasn't used, and you also have the whole, well, all the members of the Justice League in this universe together right now.
Yeah.
I, it should have been easier to like, and yeah, I get like this Trident strong, but I don't know enough of it, about it, like to know.
Yeah.
I think again, I think that
Like,
this situation could have been dealt with and handled a lot sooner. I mean,
yeah.
if you
Because, I mean, they fuck up Darkseid in the first one pretty, not easily, but
no, they work together. They found out that if they work
yeah.
together and they're able to stab Darkseid in the eye and push him
Right.
back to Apocalypse,
So
and
if they
then
can do that to Darkseid, they can
yeah, Orb is
surely,
nothing.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, that might be the biggest problem is like they started with the big bad, and now they started with a really I mean, it shouldn't be a Justice League movie, I guess, because like
No,
really, it's not a Justice League level threat. It's like an Aquaman level threat. Not saying anything bad about Aquaman, but he could handle it by himself,
he
which
could.
he does, which he does in the live action movie.
I also would have been, yeah, I would have been fine if it was
Yeah.
just him and Mira, or if you want to include somebody else
Right.
to
Oh
help
yeah,
like
Mira,
build,
dude.
if you want to help build like this universe, have
Mira is
Cyborg.
so strong.
Cyborg played at times bigger parts than
Yeah.
Aquaman. He probably shares the second most screen time next to Aquaman.
Yeah, he's the driving force behind getting the league together.
But then again, like it would have been cool where rather than having the league get together, we cut back to like the beginning of the movie where Steve Trevor asks Cyborg to contact the rest of the league, and he says, they're not going to come, and that's
Hmm.
it. Like, you know, just call it Throne of
Yeah.
Atlantis, get the Justice League part out of there. So, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
I need to do some research on like, because now you put into perspective, when does the Justice League actually become the Justice League? I guess
Like in this universe or in like the comic books or
in this universe, I'd say, because I would not count them saying in the last 2 minutes of the movie were the Justice League. Actually
well,
them being the Justice League.
so you think it's going to be even after this?
I'm looking now. We still have two more movies, and then we get our first movie with them as the actual Justice League. But it's
Versus
not.
Teen
Yeah,
Titans?
again, but it's not their movie. And then
Yeah. Like that's obviously a jump ahead in the future, so they might have done a little small stuff between now and then, but I mean, we'll get there when we get there, but
the only true, yeah, I mean, we'll get there. I'm not gonna say anything more, but
yeah, I mean, it sounded like we shit on this movie pretty hard, but really it's not like it's not bad.
it's not bad. No, it's not.
It's
Again,
it's just funny us shitting on it and then we're like, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
yeah. I mean, that's if they, you know, anyone could
Yeah,
get
I
through
mean,
my rambling and just terrible
yeah.
breakdown of the plot. I mean, just, you try and
I
watch this
mean,
movie and
yeah,
remember it and every scene.
for sure. We're no life DC fanboys, so we're like cherry picking and nitpicking this movie, and
Yeah, look at it from every angle we can.
yeah. But if
But
you're just watching it, I mean, getting into it, it's cool. It throws a lot at you, but
yeah. Well, that's all I got to say about this movie.
yeah, for sure. And the next movie, we jump back into the Batman trilogy where it's Batman versus Robin. So
Ooh, tension.
tension, more Damian Wayne, yay!
Eh.
Yeah, he's yeah. All right, well,
Well, thanks for watching.
yeah, for sure. See you later.